What's going on, 7th and 8th graders? This is the week of September 21st assignment, and it is called storage. If you notice on Google Classroom, I posted an assignment last week, and it's called storage, so go ahead and open that up. And you're going to see a document that looks kind of familiar. It's kind of same little setup that code.org creates. And storage is information that is saved for the computer to use in the future. The way I've been telling my students here in the classroom, it's kind of like when you're watching Netflix. If you go into Netflix to watch to binge watch Stranger Things or something like that, you don't have to put in your password every time. You don't have to put in your email every time. It stores that information because it doesn't change very often. There are two rules to storage, and we'll get into that in just a moment. Okay? So on code.org, let me go back to the unit view just to make sure we're getting there. Of course, to get to code.org, we've been over this. You got to go through Clever to get there. And you always got to click grid view. It makes it a lot easier to read. And last week we talked about processing. Now, if at home you struggled with that concept, don't worry about it. That's a tough concept to get. Just know that computers turn inputs to outputs. And also, they store information occasionally. And that leads us into Lesson 7, storage. Okay, so go ahead and click number 1. And I'm actually going to watch this. Let's watch this video together. And this explains how all 4 of those inputs, outputs, processing, and storage fit together.
My name is Mei Li Ku, and I'm a designer and an inventor. So some of the things I've designed have been at Apple, and now I design products for kids to use so that they can have an easier time in school. My other jobs include DJing and dancing. As the pioneers of computer science explored how to design a thinking machine, they realized that it had to perform 4 different tasks. It would need to take input, store information, process it, and then output the results. Now, this might sound simple, but these 4 things are common to all computers. That's what makes a computer a computer. First, we're going to talk about input. This is my favorite because what input is the stuff that the world does or that you do that makes the computer do stuff. You can tell a computer what to do with the keyboard, you can tell them what to do with the mouse, the microphone, the camera, and now if you're wearing a computer on your wrist, it might listen to your heartbeat, or in your car, it might be listening to what the car is doing, and a touch screen can actually sense your finger, and it takes that as input on what it's doing.
All these different inputs give a computer information, which is then stored in memory. A computer's processor takes information from memory, it manipulates it or changes it using an algorithm, which is just a series of commands, and then it sends the processed information back to be stored in memory again. This continues until the processed information is ready to be output. How a computer outputs information depends on what the computer is designed to do. A computer display can show text, photos, videos, or interactive games, even virtual reality. The output of a computer may even include signals to control a robot. And when computers connect over the internet, the output from one computer becomes the input to another, and vice versa.
But across all computers, regardless of the different types of technology they use, they're always doing the same 4 things. They take in information, they store it as data, they process it, and then they output the results.
Okay. So we've watched that. And you can see kind of how it all works together. So go ahead and click continue. And that's going to you're going to lead us into an outfit picker, okay? And this kind of is a fake app that helps you choose clothing based on weather. So I'll play around with that for a moment. You play around with it as well at home. Green's my favorite color. What season it? We just started autumn, I think yesterday. What was the weather like today? Kind of cloudy. So let's see, what should I wear? Oh man, that's a lot of swag right there. Nice umbrella green shirt and some jeans. Okay, nice. So the input, just a quick review, the input is the stuff that I just filled out. The color, the season, the weather. The output is what they suggested me to wear. The type of processing that this app uses, if then. If it's raining, for example, then carry an umbrella. If it's autumn or winter, then wear long pants, as you see. It also matches my favorite color to a favorite shirt, to a shirt color. So that's the different types of processing. Now, storage. This is where the worksheet comes in, right here to storage. Now, there are two, and I'm going to go ahead and give you the answers to number one here. Okay, I'm going to give you the answers to number one. And there's two rules to this. Rule number one, if the information doesn't change very often, then yes, it should be stored. Notice this column is a yes or no. And the first example is favorite color. Now, more than likely, my favorite color is green. It's been green since elementary school. Okay? I don't know why. I just always like green. And it's probably not going to change very often, at least. Okay? So, if it doesn't change very often, then yes, it should be stored. And a short explanation, because your favorite color usually is the same every time you use the app. So it should be stored. My next one was season. Should it be stored? No. Here comes rule number two. Rule number two, if the item changes frequently, then it should not be stored for easy access. Because if it's stored, if I log into this app 2 months from now, it's going to be in the dead of winter and I need to bring a coat. And that the app won't tell me to do that. So no, the seasons change frequently, so it shouldn't be stored. Same thing with the last one, definitely. You know, Tennessee weather is crazy. It changes hour by hour. So the weather is different every day, so it should not be stored. Okay? So that's the two rules. Rule number one, if it doesn't change very often, the app or website should store it, kind of like a Netflix password. If it changes very often, then it should not store that information, because every time I use the app, it's going to change more than likely. So don't store it. So your assignment at home this week, you're going to go, let me move my face down here hopefully so I can see what I'm doing. You're going to go and finish the next two. It's Friend Finder and then choose a kids movie. Those two apps, of course, are the next two bubbles. Friend Finder and Kids Movie Recommender. Okay? You're going to put yes or no in this column and a short explanation there. At the very end, you're going to put the guidelines to what is the two rules of storage. When should I store it? When should I not? When you get that finished, you turn it in to Google Classroom. So you're going to play around with those two apps. Play around with the apps for about 30 seconds, see how they work, and then go and fill out and think to yourself, is this information changing a lot or is it staying the same? That will determine if you, yes, store it, or no, you don't. Again, as always, if you have any questions, shoot me an email at justinnoakes@decabschools.net. Hope you guys are doing good. Fall break's right around the corner, and hope everybody has a good weekend, and we'll see you again next week for our next lesson. There we go. Let's get out of here. And I'm Mr. Noakes, and I'm out. See you guys.